do we choose peace or do we choose stress? Perhaps wisdom isn't always knowing what to do next. I believe that wisdom is recognizing when life is asking us to slow our pace without shrinking our vision. Rather, allowing it to fully breathe so that it can become what it wants to be.
Welcome to The Rise Show, a podcast for highly driven and spiritual women with big ideas, dreams, and visions. Audacious women just like you, who are committed to their evolution and obsessed about all things personal growth, spirituality, manifestation, and feminine embodiment. I'm your host, Nathalie Banaszak, feminine success and branding coach, and I'm here to support you on your journey and path of expansion. I know you're ready for so much more. Permission granted to go for greatness, your wildest desires, and the most radiant and full expression of the brand called you. Are you ready? Let's begin.
Hello, beautiful, and welcome back to The Rise Show. As I'm recording this, it's the very end of June. And if you ask me, perhaps the most beautiful time of the year here in Sweden. And I'm just savoring it so much. I'm remembering this even more as it's the first time I'm here for this season in almost a decade. This is something that the days are so long, they're light and bright and feels like never ending. And nature, everything is just green and lush, and walking in the forest just feels like a dream. You know, all the flowers take turns into blossoming in the most gorgeous way, and I could keep on going. But anyway, you get my point. I think overall what I want to say and share is that it's just this certain softness in the air and natural abundance in nature that feels very aligned with the conversation I want to have with you today. Because today I want to talk about something I've been reflecting on deeply over the past months, coming from my own personal journey this season. And that is what happens when life reshapes the vision. Not destroys it, not replaces it, not takes it away in any way, simply reshapes it into what it truly wants to be. And perhaps gives it a little bit more room to breathe. If you've been listening to The Rise Show for a while, you know this season became quieter than I originally imagined and planned for. And honestly, that's part of why I wanted to record and share this episode. Not to explain or justify any of it, not even to talk about the podcast itself, but because what this season revealed, and it feels important to share, not only for me, but perhaps for many women listening, including you. Because we enter a year with a vision that comes with a plan, a timeline, and a sense of how things are supposed to unfold, as in our desired outcome that we mentally and emotionally might even rehearse when we visualize. And then life itself enters the conversation, and suddenly things move differently. Ever felt that reality is moving too slow? Patience is really a virtue most of us need to consciously practice. And I'm definitely one of those people who need reminders. So when things doesn't happen according to plan, that doesn't even mean that anything is wrong at all. That's only the mind that thinks so. It's just that it's different from what you perhaps planned for. And I've been realizing lately that so much of leadership isn't about forcing life to follow our timeline. It's about remaining connected to ourselves when the timeline changes, because most often it does. And as for me, I entered this year with a very clear vision and plan, and very clear sense of where I thought I was heading. And I also entered it with a timeline that now makes me smile. Oh my God, because again, when I look back through my journals, and I journal a lot, I can see it so clearly. All the things I thought I could fit into 6 months, easy peasy. And all the things that I thought would happen by spring, all the things I thought would be completed by summer, by now. And here I am. I mean, I find myself laughing with love now because, of course, I thought that. I've always been very ambitious. I've always loved creating and the entire process of it. I'm simply super passionate about life and what I do. Building, dreaming, expanding. And if you're someone with a big vision, you probably know exactly what I mean. But somewhere along the way, something began to soften. Because honestly, it had to. Now, I'm not speaking about the vision and not the ambition or the desire to create. Something else inside of me softened even more. And that is my relationship with time. The forever lesson on speed and rhythm. My relationship, therefore, with life. And even more so, my relationship with myself. And perhaps that's one of the biggest lessons this season has truly given me. Nothing fell apart because it never does. Life simply asked for a different rhythm. Well, a little bit more time, a little more space, a little more air. And the more I resisted that would be the old pattern, the heavier things felt. And the more I accepted it, as with everything, the more peaceful everything became. There is always another level of deep and complete surrender. Compared to what many people think, surrender in its highest form is not passive at all. Consciously practicing letting go is an action we choose to take versus resisting and clinging to our own plan and timeline. And as always, we get to choose. So, do we choose peace or do we choose stress? Perhaps wisdom isn't always knowing what to do next. I believe that wisdom is recognizing when life is asking us to slow our pace without shrinking our vision. Rather, allowing it to fully breathe so that it can become what it wants to be. And that brings me to something I've been thinking about a lot lately. And that is the relationship between radiance and ambition, which for me translates into a topic I'm deeply passionate about, and that's modern womanhood in a very holistic context. Because if you've followed my work for a while, you've heard me speak about both radiance and ambition. Because Rise is all about where radiance meets ambition. And for many years, I almost viewed them as companions, side by side, supporting one another when we're creating from alignment and purpose. But lately, I've come to understand something more deeply. Radiance isn't simply part of the equation. Radiance is the source of all things, truly. It's not what remains after ambition. Radiance is what ambition grows from. I think of radiance It's just like the sun. It's what nourishes and sustains all that's real and beautiful. It goes for nature and it goes for us too. Nothing good comes from depletion, depriving ourselves from what we genuinely need, and, well, burning ourselves out, even slightly, and even when we're moving passionately with clear direction. When we forget to fuel and nourish all aspects of ourselves and will actively bring in all the ingredients we need to fully thrive, something begins to feel off and heavy when we're deeply aware women. We begin managing life instead of fully living it. We begin chasing what we once wanted to create. And sometimes this happens, without even really noticing that. We begin organizing our lives around the vision instead of allowing the vision to exist within a beautiful life. This is a little bit of a trap, and mastery is truly about knowing what's what. And I think this season reminded me of something very simple but profound. Beautiful life isn't something that happens after the vision succeeds, once we reach the destination. It is part of the vision. And all this tremendous beauty is happening right now. I'm speaking about our relationships and genuine connection to ourselves and those we love the most. The friendships, the well-being, the beauty, the home, the conversations, the long walks in nature, just appreciating the season, which you heard me talk about at the beginning of this episode. I mean all the ordinary, lovely moments that makes life feel rich and extraordinary. And for me, it's the first time in almost a decade that I've spent a full season of summer here in Sweden. And what has surprised me isn't where I am, it's how deeply I'm savoring and enjoying simply being here. And I had these grand plans of traveling Europe this summer, which I was so excited about. And by the end of June, which is now, I plan to go to the Basque region to meet up friends, including Biarritz and San Sebastian. Then I was going to travel Costa del Sol in Spain, flying to Italy. And, well, I was excited about all of this. And here I am, enjoying, simply being here and appreciating all that my country has to offer. Because the summer here is just truly magic. And instead, right now, the least thing I want to do is to pack a bag and go somewhere. Which is interesting to observe because I'm a traveler. A travel lover by heart, and I always have been. And a few years ago, all I wanted was freedom, movement, travel, and expansion. And I mean, I still love all those things. And it's just that at this point and chapter of my life, I find myself deeply appreciating, savoring, and, craving different things even more right now. Being present and allowing spaciousness to calmly root a new chapter. So I believe that everything is just magnificent when we slow down enough to enjoy and savor everything that life has to offer. And this includes a beautiful home, just a slow morning, swimming in the sea. Oh my goodness. And I'm mentioning this because I'm there. I mean, I go to the sea, whether that will be the lake or the ocean, as soon as I get the time and space for it. I prioritize it definitely during this time of year. And, all the small things, a beautiful conversation with a friend or a random stranger, quiet summer evening and another evening, bubbles and high heels in the city with dear friends, no agenda, more than having fun and to just be spontaneous. A book, reading a book, that has nothing to do with personal development, just a captivating story to get completely caught up in, where you just lose both time and space because there is something that speaks to you. So nothing became smaller. Life simply became even fuller. And this brings me to one of the biggest illusions ambitious women carry, and it's this: if I stop holding everything together, everything will fall apart. And surely there must be something else I could do or should do right now. I know I've carried versions of that belief myself, that if I stop moving, and this is the old pushing mentality paradigm, momentum disappears. That if I step away, everything somehow stops working. That if I loosen my grip, things unravel. And yet, life has always, and this season is included, showed me something very different. It showed me that some things continue regardless. And you know why? Because they are real. Not because we constantly manage them or prove them or, because we are feeding them every day, but because they have become something true. And there is something incredibly freeing about discovering and knowing that. And I don't think I'm alone in this. Well, even more so, I know I'm not alone in this. We all feel it. I think that many women around the world are realizing that old models of quote unquote success simply doesn't work anymore. All the stories about achievement, and none of this cannot come at the expense of, ourselves anymore. That leadership, modern leadership, feminine leadership, isn't self-abandonment. That ambition doesn't require disconnection. That a meaningful life and meaningful work belong together, and they always have. So the deepest realization for me has been this: the vision didn't disappear. And if I'm simply staying true to myself, it can't, because I am right here. The only thing that really happened is that life caught up with it. Or perhaps more accurately, I caught up with it. Because what I wanted to create hasn't only been meaningful work ever. It wasn't only leadership, wasn't only impact. It's always been all of that, yes, and a beautiful life. We only need to realize that those things we desire are never separate. Sometimes we understand theory of it, and then there are many, many layers of lessons before a concept becomes embodied even deeper. We truly can learn so much from life itself. So, what happens when life reshapes the vision? I've found that the things I tried hardest to control were the very things asking for trust, deeper trust. There always seems to be another level of surrender that's available to us. And that requires a willingness to let go, loosen our grip, and how we think things should unfold. And perhaps that the real leadership is choosing which voice gets to lead in every area of life. So here's what can happen when we let life be an exploration and adventure, and when we choose to live with intention. Perhaps we discover a truer version of ourselves inside it. Perhaps we stop forcing timelines. Perhaps we stop making every detour mean something has gone wrong. Perhaps we stop abandoning ourselves in pursuit of what we want. And perhaps we learn to trust even deeper, trusting ourselves first and above all. We trust life, we trust timing, and what is emerging, no matter how it might look and feel. Because life knows how to participate in the vision. It always has. And maybe that's the lesson I've been learning over and over and over again this past year. Not how to make things happen faster, but instead how to remain deeply present and grounded while they're unfolding. So this is not about how to control every outcome, because if we try to do that, well, that's a sure sign that stress will appear in our beings and bodies. It's about how to trust ourselves to meet whatever comes next. As always, can we manage to trust that life is always happening for us and not to us? Because, this is a concept. It takes practice, and we learn through letting go enough to realize that this is true. So as we move into the summer, that's the invitation I want to leave you with. Not do more or fit as much as possible in, not to force the next chapter, not to rush what is still unfolding or even the day itself, but try to see what happens when you deeply listen to yourself, to trust your own rhythm at the season you're in right now. Even if it's summer, what's the season you're moving through? And again, trusting that life knows the way and the vision is still here, intact. So this episode is not about stopping dreaming big. It is simply learning to build our dreams from wholeness. And that is a very, very different way of living. A beautiful life isn't something that happens after achievement, after the next milestone, the next thing, or, somewhere to be found down the road. Is happening right now in this precious present moment and in a million of ordinary moments every single day, in all the things that makes us feel fully alive. The vision was never meant to replace life. It never is. It emerges through life. So again, wherever you are as you're listening to this, I wish you the most beautiful summer, a present summer, and a radiant summer. Summer filled with the people, places, and the conversations, beauty, rest, joy, love, fun, and all those millions of ordinary, lovely moments that truly nourish you and makes you feel happy and fulfilled from within. Because those moments are not distractions from the path. They are the path. I got this lesson in a meditation a few weeks ago, and this word came to me as a mantra. Sommarlov, sommarlov, sommarlov. I just got this word on repeat. So this is a Swedish word that translates to summer holiday, specifically for kids as they go off school for a full summer break. But the essence is more about what it symbolizes in general. And to me, the feeling of spaciousness, of freedom and complete spontaneity, no obligations, and simply a pause of slowing down enough to fully enjoy the life we're creating. And a reminder that not every season is meant for expansion and moving things forward. Some seasons are simply meant for living as we're building it, creating space for integration and really stabilizing the new vision and what's emerging next. So that's what came to me with this one powerful and beautiful word, sommarlov, summer holiday. I mean, taste it. It's simple and so beautiful. As for me, I'll be spending the summer doing exactly that. Living, listening, following inspiration and creativity, yes, and allowing what has already been built to just settle. And quietly, while I'm excited, preparing the next chapter of Rise School, the School of Unlearning and Remembering. I won't say more now. A space for women who are ready to return to themselves and lead from there. Next time we speak, we'll be stepping into season 3. But for now, enjoy your summer and just savor every single day and trust what is unfolding. Trust yourself and your life, because always life knows how to participate in the vision. And also remember, this is not about becoming someone new. It never is. It's always about remembering who you are and leading from there. To live so fully that the vision has somewhere real to grow from. If you want to take these reflections further and would like to explore the Rise philosophy more deeply, you'll find the Rise Authority Calibration in the show notes. It's a short guide designed to help you recalibrate how you think about leadership, well-being, visibility, authority, and the next level and chapter of your life and work. And as always, I love to hear your reflections from this episode and from your experience with the guide. So let me know how this lands with you. And until next time, take care. Much love to you.
If you loved this podcast, please go ahead and subscribe. That way you get updates anytime I post a new episode. And if you're feeling extra generous, go ahead and share this with a sister you know needs to hear this message and leave a review. It would mean so much, as I love to envision a world with more feminine, embodied leaders. If you're looking to further grow, evolve, and expand your life and business, connect with me on Instagram and sign up for my Rise newsletter. Get ready to receive special announcements, inspiration, high vibe self-empowerment, tips, hacks, and tools on how to become the woman you most want to be right into your inbox. Link in the show notes. Until next time, have a gorgeous week.